Hey everyone, if you're in the market for an adjustable dumbbell, then you probably run across these two. The Nuobell adjustable dumbbell and the Trulap adjustable dumbbell. I'm Zach from thebarbellphysio.com, and I'm gonna talk to you about the pros and cons of these two dumbbells so that you can make a better decision on which one you should buy. All right, so first, I love both of these dumbbells. I'm very fortunate that I have both of them, which is why I wanted to do this video for you all. The thing that I love about these so much is just the general look of them. Both having, the handle and then the circular bells of sorts. So they have that kind of traditional dumbbell look while letting you have a lot more dumbbells in a much smaller and compact space than having to buy a full out dumbbell set. And also overall, when you look at going, from somewhere around 5 pounds up to the 80 or 90 pounds, if you were to have all of those dumbbells, it's obviously gonna take up a lot of space and it's gonna take a significant amount of money to buy that many dumbbells. So that's why I love both of these. Now let's dive into kind of some of the important key differences between the two, and we're gonna start with the big one, and that is maximal weight capacity. So the Nuobell, this one starts at 5 pounds and it will build all the way up to 80 pounds. So a pretty decent dumbbell. Now I've actually had my Nuobell for a long time, but I was in so many different movements getting to the point where I could no longer use my Nuobells in the rep ranges that I wanted because I was getting too strong for it. Instead of doing sets of 6 to 8, I was having to do sets of 12 to 15 just because I had maxed out the weight there. I was looking at magnetic change plates or ankle weights on my hand, anything to try to up the weight a little bit more. And fortunately, I found the Trulap dumbbells that have a much better capacity here. So the Trulap dumbbells, they start at 8.5 pounds and they go all the way up to 92 pounds. So an additional 12 pounds over the Nuobell per dumbbell, which is huge. And I'm really grateful that I have one that's a little bit heavier now to allow me to train a little bit more in the rep ranges that I would more ideally want to be with some different movements. One interesting thing about the weight capacity of these is the increments at which these dumbbells move at. So the Nuobells jump up in consistent 5-pound intervals. So starting at 5 pounds, going 10, 15, all the way up to 80. The Trulap dumbbells have a very interesting loading increments pattern. So it starts at 8.5 pounds, then it goes 12, 15.5, 19, then 21.5. So it jumps between 2.5 pounds and 3.5 pounds, which is a little weird, but it's also a good thing. So if you think about so many different lifts, like it's easy, or you wouldn't regularly make 10% jumps on your barbell lift. So imagine you're doing a barbell bench press with 300 pounds. A 10-pound jump is going from 300 pounds to 330. That's a huge jump. But in the space of dumbbells, when you go from a 5-pound dumbbell to a 10, that's doubling the weight. When you go from 10 to 15 pounds, that's not a 10% increase, that's a 50% increase. So the fact that this dumbbell makes those slightly smaller incremental jumps is another huge benefit to the Trulap, even though it has those weird incremental jump ups. It allows you to kind of micro dose between sessions a little bit better. So I love that here. From a weight perspective, the Trulap definitely beats with the smaller increments and the heavier overall weight. So next, let's just discuss the ease of changing these weights. For both of these, no real difference. You just simply put the dumbbell down in its carrier. Once it's locked in place, you simply twist the dumbbell handle and it will adjust the weight to the next increment. So both of those work really easily. I'd say when you first start using these, it's gonna take a couple of workouts to figure out exactly how to get it back in there the right way and make sure everything lines up. And you'll occasionally get moments like what I'm demonstrating right now where things don't line up perfectly and you have to reset a few times or adjust some of the little bell weights that are hanging on the side. That's normal with both of those. I will say that initially training with both of these, the Trulap has a few more of those little hiccups getting in and out, but to me, that's a relatively minor detail. Again, it just takes slight adjustments and maybe I'm making some slight changes like what I just did there to push weights back into place. So a small thing, but definitely the Trulap doesn't quite have that smoothness that you have with the Nuobell, but not one of the biggest hitters for me in terms of making a big difference between these two. So up next, let's talk about the grip itself, the bar that you're holding onto and the differences between the two. So I'm somebody that really likes aggressive knurling. I want that knurling to really rip into my hands, help me have a really strong grip on that. The Nuobell definitely has a more aggressive grip than the Trulap dumbbell. This Trulap dumbbell is very smooth. It does have knurling on it, but it's not near as aggressive. So I do like the more aggressive myself, but some people are gonna have a different opinion on that. The other difference is going to be the width of the grips. So the Trulap handle is a little bit thicker than the Nuobell. Not a huge difference, but it's something to consider if you are somebody that regularly finds, that grip strength on barbells really limits you because maybe you have smaller hands or something like that, then you might want to think about the Nuobell. But I don't think that's a huge difference between the two. I also think while I like aggressive knurling, when we're talking about dumbbell movements, it's not like a barbell where I'm trying to, deadlift 400 pounds plus where I need to have really, really aggressive knurling. When we're talking dumbbells, that's not quite as important to me. The other difference you'll see as I have these two out is on the attachment point of the handle to the bells themselves. You're gonna see on the Trulap that that's metal in terms of its connection point, which I really like, versus the Nuobell are these plastic pieces. And while I've had my Nuobells for a long time and I've not had specific issues with it, I can see some wear and tear happening right here where those holes look like they've kind of been worn a little bit. And I do kind of feel like, although I can't say this for sure, I kind of feel like those plastic connector pieces are a little bit suspect. The fact that this one has that metal attachment piece there is probably why this dumbbell starts at 8.5 pounds instead of the 5 pounds that the Nuobell starts with. All right, up next, we gotta talk about the sturdiness of these dumbbells. So I'm gonna put some weight on both of these and pull out. And what you'll notice is that as I move the Trulap around, you can hear these metal plates jiggle a little bit. That's not super annoying, but if you're somebody that really hates little noises like that, that might bother you a little bit. The Nuobell itself, if I also take that up to around 20 pounds, it makes a little less noise than the Trulap, both of which though are relatively minor in terms of the amount of noise they make, and both of them feel relatively stable and sturdy. All right, the next piece to consider is that at times you are going to need to move your base. You're not gonna just keep this on the ground in the corner. You might wanna move it to a different part of your home gym. And let's talk about the ease of picking these up. So Trulap did a really nice job here with this metal bar being elevated off the base a little bit. So you can really easily come in here, grab that and move this heavy 92-pound dumbbell with relative ease. On the other hand, the Nuobell, they have that same metal bar, but it's flush down with the ground, so you can't really easily get your fingers under it. Instead, you kind of have to come over to the side and grab the lip of their base like I'm doing here with your fingertips. A little less convenient to move this around. So what I tend to find is with the Nuobells when I move them, I just crank the dumbbell up to its highest weight. So I pull the dumbbell, carry it to wherever I want, come back and get the base, move the base to where I need it, drop the dumbbell back in place. Versus the Trulap, I can just grab the whole unit as one and move it as one, which is a little bit nicer and a little bit more convenient. And finally, the final piece that we have to discuss between these two dumbbells is pricing. So the Trulap's coming in at $7.99, at least at the time of this recording, plus shipping. The Nuobell coming in at $7.45 plus shipping. So this one's gonna be a little cheaper, but to get 12 additional pounds per dumbbell, for me, that's a no-brainer. I would rather go with the heavier dumbbell, the more metal components to it, more stability overall. I think that's gonna make it a better purchase for most people, but I think both are fantastic dumbbells to pick up. So I hope this has helped you out if you're looking at these two adjustable dumbbells to purchase for your home gym. If you could, take a look at the links in the bio. We have affiliate links down here for the Trulap dumbbell. If you go with that, I'd appreciate you clicking that link and buying through that link to help support videos like this that I put out.